Hello, darling.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm lovely. How are
Like,
you? I feel like I have a lot of stuff today.
like I feel cluttered. I don't want to feel cluttered. I need this on the right side of me.
Hi,
Hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi, friend.
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah,
sure can.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
How's my
Can you hear us?
background looking?
looks
Fine.
lovely. Big
It
fan
looks
of
like you
sticky
have
notes.
some serious plotting going on behind you, is what it looks like.
Yes.
Look at those sticky notes.
Plotting the next YA.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Very exciting. Yes. Um,
Where are your kiddos right now? Are they in bed?
they're sleeping. They're sleeping.
That's
Yeah,
so.
you're an hour ahead of us.
Yes, it's 8 o'clock over here.
Oh my goodness, you're a champ. Thanks for meeting with us this late.
You're Listen, you're very welcome. I had time to go put on a headband, lipstick. I'm good.
I
That's
was
all you
just
need.
about to say your headband is so cute.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Do you guys want to give me the rundown? How do we do this? How long
Yeah.
does it go for? Questions? Do people
Yes.
read
Absolutely.
questions?
It's an
Well,
hour.
Cool.
Kai and I riff off each other and we'll ask you like not rapid fire, but we'll bounce between the two of us. And then we open
Great.
it up to our guests that are listening. There's a little chat box and they can type in there. There's like a Q&A box and we give
Cool.
time. And then
Great.
at the
And
end, of
it's
course,
spoilers, correct?
yes,
oh, oh yeah.
spoilers abound. We're getting
Cool.
into the nitty-gritty. We will be
Cool.
asking questions about your lovely plot twists, ma'am, um, and some decisions that you made in this book that we
Awesome.
have
Yeah. Here
questions
we go.
about.
I feel like I should have read the book again or something because I'm a little rusty.
Oh my gosh, I love you. I actually did. Read
Yes.
this like a year ago.
You
Yeah, I initially
read
picked it up.
so fast.
I do read fast. I
You
do, and I
do.
read early, but
Mm,
I get it, right? I read,
yeah. Yeah.
I do.
So fun.
Reading is my escape and my relaxation. Like some people
Yeah.
watch TV, some people listen to music. I read.
I love it. Do you either of you read historical romance?
I
Uh-huh.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys ever read Julie Ann Long?
Oh, no.
I don't think
Oh
so.
my God.
What? Okay,
I
no,
am
go for
so happy to tell you about this.
it. Okay, you know
Um,
what's so funny? Our last chat, we ended up talking about historical romance.
it's the best. I am trying for it to become a thing. I don't understand why the romantic crowd has not discovered or has embraced historical romance, the yearning, the
I
plot twist,
know.
I mean,
I bet maybe with Wuthering Heights, maybe it's coming.
I would have felt that for Bridgerton though, but it
Yeah,
hasn't.
Bridgerton is a good start, but
The Palace of Rogues series by Julie Ann Long is top tier. She's continuing on in this series. The books start off and they're super entertaining, very human, poignant, and then they get better and better with each book. And I just read the arc for her newest one, and it is so perfect. So perfect. And I loved it so much. To me, that she's got the talent of Lisa Kleypas to me,
oh,
which and Lisa Kleypas to me is queen of
yeah.
all historical romances.
Wow, fun.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so
I'm like, all
enjoy.
right, so when are you branching out into that?
The problem is that it hasn't been selling. Publishers have
Yeah.
not been, and they've just done away with the mass market, and the Harlequin just shut down, which was the famous imprint
Yeah.
for historical romances. So it's actually not a thing, and a lot of them are actually self-pubbing now because
Mhm.
of it, which is baffling to me again because I really think that the romantic crowd would really enjoy that. There's twists in dark villain heroes and kidnappings and
Yeah.
it's so good. You can
Rivalry,
find everything in a historical
all the
romance.
tropes. All
All
the
the tropes, yes, but well written, human, great characterization. Yeah, there's so many that are awesome. I'd
Yeah,
love for them to discover this with me. Come on.
hey, this is your platform right here. It's actually, this is so hilarious because we ended our conversation with Alex Harrow last
Oh,
week talking about historical romances and how incredible they
I'm
are.
laughing.
she got me on, oh my
He
gosh.
literally showed us her shelves, and it was like, here's my 35.
Yes, hold on. So she got me on Meredith Duran.
Oh,
The
right.
other one that she got me on, oh my gosh, Isabel. Joanne, she writes excellent, and I mean excellent spy thrillers,
Oh.
historical romance spy thrillers, so good. And she only did 6 of them and then was done.
Have you
And
read Mickey Matthews before?
I'm a critique partner of hers, and she
Oh,
read Graceless Heart for me. So yes,
I love
she's
her.
wonderful.
I
Yes.
love everything she writes too.
Yes. The her marriage account, that one. Yes, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Super fun. All right. Sorry,
Yeah.
Kai. We'll get back. We're back on track. Ready, Kai? Are you ready to do an
All right,
intro?
let's
As much
do
as we
it.
love talking about other
Okay.
books, let's talk about yours.
Oh yeah.
There we go. That's a perfect introduction. So, welcome, everybody. This is the Guild, Fabled Fantasy Book Club. We're so stoked that you are here. I'm Lee Ellen. This is Kai.
Hi, it's me, Kai.
Hi.
So quick housekeeping. This is a spoiler-filled chat. Spoilers will abound.
Yes.
So if you haven't finished the book, go hide somewhere in the bathroom or just come back later and watch the replay because we will be talking about all the crazy twists and turns that are in this book. You will receive an email. Kai will send it tomorrow with the replay. We've got a ton of questions, but feel free in the chat box, click the chat box. There's also a question box, so you can go ahead and ask questions, and Kai and I will circle around towards the end and ask those.
Cool.
Take it away, Kai.
All right, I'm going to do your official bio and introduction to the book, and we'll jump into the questions. So this is just, the classic. We got to say all the accolades. So
Oh gosh.
Isabel Ibañez is the author of The Secrets of the Nile duology, Together We Burn, and Woven in Moonlight, a finalist for the William C. Morris Award, and is listed among Time Magazine's 100 Best Fantasy Books of All Time. She is the proud daughter of Bolivian immigrants and has a profound appreciation for history and traveling. She currently lives in Asheville, North Carolina with her husband, their adorable dog, and a serious collection of books. Graceless Heart is her adult debut and is the first in the Spellbound History Quartet. This book that we are so excited to talk about tonight is a lush historical fantasy set in 15th century Italy that follows Ravenna Maffei, a talented sculptress who hides a dangerous magical ability in a city where magic is outlawed. Desperate to free her brother, she enters a competition held by the feared immortal Luni family, inadvertently revealing her secret and becoming their captive in Florence. There, she's compelled to complete perilous tasks under the watchful eye of the enigmatic and merciless Saturnino de Luni, dreamy, with whom she shares a slow burn enemies to lovers tension. As political intrigue mounts and the Pope's crusade against magic closes in, Ravenna must navigate treacherous loyalties, deadly power struggles, and her own heart to survive.
Woo!
Woo,
You did great.
Now that we're
Does it ring a bell now? Do you remember? Okay, so right off the bat, we have to talk about the fact that you finally got to write an adult.
Yes. Yeah, I did it.
Tell us
I
about
don't know
that.
how I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
Was it scary? Was it exciting? Was it freeing? Like, how's it different?
It was hard. I felt a lot of pressure, especially coming off the duology, the Nile books. I felt a ton of pressure that I put on myself. In YA, I think that the pacing is faster, and I know the hallmarks of young adult books. It's a teenage protagonist, and they're coming out and learning who they are and finding their own voice and moving out of the house for the first time and testing their limits. With this one, I had like almost like a baby launch into the adult world. It was the same sort of thing. Ravenna gets forcibly taken, and now she has to discover her metal, like her, I don't know, her spine. And so in a lot of ways, I felt like I gave myself a nice, easy way into the themes of this book. They felt familiar, but then I could really soak in and pay attention to the historical time period. I mean, it was so much fun, all of the research. So I just felt like I got to put more and more and more into this book. And I have to tell you, the fact that it exists at all, I'm so happy that it does, because this is the first book that I wrote after being a new mom to twins and with no childcare. And and then it was also right after the heels of Hurricane Helene. So it was, yeah, it was a time.
Mhm.
It was a time.
Wow. Yeah. And this book is a bit of a mashup of genres as well. It's the fantasy mixed with the historical fiction. Can you tell us about how you decided to kind of keep what you did in other spaces, like and incorporating real people, places, and events from history to mix with the fictional characters and the magic?
Yeah, I listen. I get a lot of inspiration from history. I in college I studied creative writing and history, and I love learning and understanding where people have been. I am obsessed with finding out the nitty-gritty of different cultures, what makes them tick, the people who are living in those spaces, and I wanted to write a historical fantasy with a complete romantic story arc, and I wanted to mesh those two together. But I also, one of the other loves that I have is a bit of a mystery and thriller, and I'm obsessed with magic, so weaving in all of those things was a particular challenge, but I felt like I had the space now to do it in an adult category. So that was, it really came of a love of historical fiction and magic, but also wanting a complete romance arc in the book and a standalone, which was the fun part.
Right. That was a lot. That's a lot of check marks.
I make a lot of
Okay,
lists
so
for myself. I want to hit this. I want to hit this. I want to hit
yes,
this.
this. I want to talk about the magic because I do read a lot of fantasy, and
Mhm.
I thought it was very unique. I don't think I've ever read a book that had like stone magic, essentially.
Really?
So,
Oh my goodness, that makes me happy.
tell me like where that came from and all the different I love that in the beginning you explain all the different types of stones
Yes.
and like what they do. So like
Yes.
that had to be a whole
It was so
creation.
that part was like me playing. I wanted something that fit the time period, the world, the decadence. I mean, when I think about the Renaissance, I think about the color palettes and the creation of different colors. And I love I don't want to say gaudy, but I want the extravagance
Mhm.
of what was available. And then I also like the idea of infusing them with magic and each one having its own personality almost. Its abilities, its strengths, its weaknesses, and the other thing too is that I knew that I was going to write about a witch, and you all know now that it's going to be a quartet, and each book is going to be a standalone, but each book is about a witch. And of course, as a witch, they have different magical abilities to a different extent. And Ravenna's is very like she inherited a very thin line of magic. But as you go on in different books, that will be changed by witch,
Mm.
like witch to witch. So I just had a lot of fun like playing with it. And this book also very much felt like the springboard of what was going to come after in the different quartets. So not every stone gets used in this book, but that doesn't mean that's going to be true for the next one and the next one and the next one.
Love it.
I felt like I was doing a lot of setup, but it didn't. I didn't want it to feel like setup. I just wanted it to like you see this book and you read the pages and you think this is a big world with lots of heightened sense of possibility on every page.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. It's a little bit of a chicken or the egg question here.
Yeah.
Um, did the idea for her being a sculptress come first, or the idea of stone magic come first? And how did you kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know more about the sculpting too.
It's funny when the idea first came to me, it was in 2021, and I have a notes app on my phone where I just write down ideas after ideas of ideas. And sometimes when I'm scrolling through this idea list, I hit the same idea over and over and over again, which tells me, oh, you are really interested in this. This is something you ought to come back to. It's coming up and bubbling up to the surface often. And for me, I wanted to set a book during the Renaissance. I love that time period. I felt like civilization was just waking up after the Dark Ages. and everybody's cut off. I mean, truly. And now people are starting to wake up and ask questions. And so I wanted to set a story there. And I originally was going to have Ravenna be a painter. And there was something about that that didn't feel right to me. And I wish I could tap into the exact like thought in my head, but I had a gut feeling that it wasn't her talent. Um, and as I kept going, I then thought about a love interest, and I wanted the love interest to be immortal. I did not, spoilers, okay, if we're doing it. I did not.
Go on, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I didn't want him to be a vampire. I didn't want him to be fae. I did not want him to be a werewolf. Love all those things, but I felt like in the Renaissance, I thought I could do something a little bit more tied to art. And that's when I thought about a love interest with 6 months to live, and he is a statue, and he will turn back into a statue. And what happened, who would get through to this person? I kept thinking a statue would be cold-hearted, empathy, hard to reach, closed off, aloof. And I loved all those characteristics. And then I thought, oh, she's a sculptress. And once I had that, I felt everything opened up for me in terms of the story. Here's a woman. I don't know if anybody is a sculptress or a sculptor. I have.
If you're a sculptor in the chat, go ahead.
Just let me know.
What are the chances?
Truly, listen. When I went to Italy to research, and I actually got into a sculptor studio. He invited me, and his studio was in the very bottom floor of like this old palazzo. And I walk in, and he works on commission, and he had a block of marble, and it was already started, and it was a beautiful bust. And it was for a family. They had paid thousands of dollars for this commission. And he gives me a chisel and the exact tool that Ravenna would have used. And he's like, do your worst. And I'm like, I don't want to break it. Are you serious? I don't want to do it. He's like, you couldn't. Just try. And he let me whack at that marble bust for, I swear I must have done 15 minutes of solid, like, let me in. And I could not budge. And I learned so much about her. To be able to do something like that, to be able to chip at stone, you have to have perseverance, dedication, a stubborn, innate quality. And I loved this, especially for Ravenna, because to me, she's literally, as she's working on stone, something that is not accepted by other people for a woman, she is carving her own fate and carving into Saturnino, chip by chip by chip. And by the way, after I was hacking for 15 minutes, I was able to get the smallest little piece off that bust. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy then to see these full statues and realize like
yes, it takes years. It takes
pieces.
Yes, it takes years. And I learned so much. I'm so glad that I did that. But again, it was really like following that path of like who, what, how, and then Ravenna came to be, and all of her personality traits just from that.
I loved her because, well, I love a coming of age story anyways. So I liked that even though this was like your adult debut, it had this coming of age quality to it still. So I mean, I don't know if new adult is really a genre or not, but it felt like older young person coming of age. And the way that you wrote it, I'm so curious about your decision to, have it be mostly from her perspective, like it's mostly her single point of view, but then you like drop in these nuggets of other points of view. Yeah. So tell me about that choice, because it was nice to have those like glimpses into that other thinking, but like still keep her the central story.
Yeah,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, no, and it was such a choice, and I went back and forth with it because I was scared to turn off the reader, and I also it's tricky being a woman and writing fantasy right now. I love romantasy, but I was very cognizant that I was not writing a romantasy. I was writing a romantic historical fantasy. So historical fantasy with a B plot and a romance arc. And so I very much felt like this was Ravenna's story. But as I started doing research in the time period, and because I wanted it to be a historical book, I was incorporating the perspectives and worldviews of real life people who lived and breathed during this time. And I felt like I could not do the story that I wanted to tell justice without incorporating those points of view. And I did them in a way like snacks. They don't overpower the narrative, but you get a sense of the real live chessboard that Ravenna is on. You have the Duke of Milan, you have Rome, you have Naples, you have the Sforza family, you have all these players. And I wanted the reader to feel like, oh, she is up against so many people, as women were during this
As a
period.
woman, right? Like, I
Yes,
mean,
as we still are in a lot of ways. So I felt like the only way for the reader to get to know the chessboard was to have these points of view, and it was still going to be Ravenna's story. But again, because I was writing a historical fantasy, I felt like the story needed that scope.
I thought it really rounded it out.
Yes, that's my hope. Yeah, that's my hope.
It really did. It was really fun. I was like, for me specifically, as I was reading it, I feel like every girl has like a historical family that they just learned about when they were like 10 and somehow made it their entire personality.
Yes.
That was the Medicis. And so like as soon as I saw reference to the Medicis, I was like, I'm locked in.
They were like fascinating.
They are fascinating people. I mean, and their family just anyways, I won't go on that tangent right now. But one area and one point of view that I was specifically curious about you including, because you include so many different players, but this one you made a pretty big focus on, was the Pope and the church, and bringing in a religious aspect into this, which, you know, over history, yes, the church, magic, no.
Yes.
So it makes sense in that front, but that's also had to have been daunting. So can you talk a little bit about that decision?
Yes. So full disclaimer, I was born and raised Catholic, taught Sunday school, very much my upbringing, my whole mother's side of the family. I mean, my dad's too, but he's not practicing, but all Catholic. So I grew up knowing a lot of Catholic history, doctrine, theology. And as I was doing research in this time period, I was struck over and over again by this helplessness that I felt for all these people who are struggling to make ends meet, worried about famine, and turning to the church and not finding grace, not finding someone who was really looking after them when that was what they were supposed to be doing. And my sense of justice was just raging. I was just raging, and don't get me started on indulgences and all these different things. And so I felt like there was no way that I couldn't talk about this time period without bringing that in. And I did not set out to make the Pope a villain. What I wanted to do was to take someone from that time period and try to convey what was happening. And because there was such gross misconduct and mishandling of so much. And little by little, as I was drafting and doing this, I'm like, okay, I guess this guy is the villain. And he's not a reflection of all of the popes in Catholic history, of course not. But in this time period, in this scope, I was very much looking at Borgia. And I can't tell you how mad it made me when I was reading up on so much of the details of, you know, the Roman seat at the time period. So that's how it came. It sort of came to be. I didn't, you know, I was looking at history and seeing what the reality was. And for better or for worse, when you capture time in history, I try to be honest with what was going on.
I loved how you tied in history into this novel, for sure. I mean, I read a ton of historical fiction. And
Yeah.
so I also feel like this is a good beginner fantasy for people that maybe don't normally read fantasy.
Yeah.
Because it does have so many historical elements. Like, did you go into it with that kind of concept, or did you really, yeah?
I did. I really wanted to write a historical fantasy. I think I probably always will in the adult category. There's so much to it. And at that point, people were already believing in the impossible and magic, and maps were being people. Okay, so this is an age of exploration, and maps are being made. And for any territories that were too far off or scary or hard to get to, they would put down, here be dragons, because to them, if they didn't know what was there, they put the scariest thing in their imagination. And that's such a human nature thing, right? To fear the unknown like that. So I don't know. I will always be drawn to that, to writing historical fiction, adding in the human psyche in that, because at times it just feels like magic to me.
Right. Were there, when you were, sorry, Kai, I want more of this because I felt like this is such an immersive novel, and the real characters in history play such an important part in it alongside your fictional characters. Like, was there a part in your research where you were surprised at what you found, or did you already kind of know a lot of this history and that's why you chose this part?
I think, well, the thing that really struck me, when I was doing the research, I knew that I was going to set it in Florence. For the first book, Renaissance, when anybody thinks of Florence or Renaissance, I think they think of Florence. There's so much innovation, art, science, medicine. All of that is coming out of this city, and it's just packed with so many brilliant people asking tough questions of the church, of science, of what they can handle, not handle. And I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I got carried away. Tell me what the question was. I'm like, I can talk about this all the time, but I want to specifically answer your question. Tell me what your question was.
Like, what was there something that surprised you in your
research? The surprise. Yes. This is what I wanted to say. Yes. So when I set it in Florence, you can't do Florence without the Medici family. And I came across the Pazzi conspiracy, which was the murder of Giuliano, and he is stabbed 19 times during an Easter Sunday church service, and that really happened. And growing up Catholic, Easter Sunday is pinnacle of the external expression of, yes, it's Christmas and it's Easter. And so I could not believe that the Pope had I don't want to say that historians really debate the matter of whether or not how much he knew of the plan of this assassination to happen during Easter Sunday, but he certainly was behind a lot of the machinations of putting this plot together and putting key people in place. Just can you imagine the level of corruption for that to happen during Easter Sunday to begin with? And that was the thing that surprised me, how all the key players played a part in that. And it began and ended with the Pope. That surprised me.
Yeah, that's shocking for sure.
Shocking. Yes.
Icky, a little icky.
A little icky. Yeah, a little icky. The other thing too, it's like Leonardo da Vinci and all of his weapons of war. And the Sforza family really did contract him to design, and they didn't, even though they didn't get to be built, he had plans for them. And so in the book, I knew that I wanted, of course, one of them had to be built. I knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just
so much, guys. I could talk about this all the time. I know.
I'm so curious. How do you, because you can tell you have a passion for history. Like that's a through line in all of your work, always has been, always will be. Every time I've even spoken to you or hear you like talk, it comes out. And so I'm curious as to like, how do you, like, obviously we see your plotting sticky note wall in the back, but all of this research that you do, these places you travel, these stories that you come across, how do you catalog them and keep track of them, both mentally and also like physically? Like, do you have notes on your laptop? Do you have like actual journals? What does that look like for you?
Where is it? Let's see. I'm going to show you guys something. Is it here? Hold on. Oh no.
We're waiting for it.
Hold on. No, that's like the whole book. Where did it go? Oh, literally right in front of me. Okay. So each of my stories books gets a moleskin journal. And this is for the book. The title of Witch Dance was going to be Deathly Dance, but we landed on Witch Dance. But everybody gets, a journal or whatever, each story idea. And everything that I know about the book goes in here. Everything I know about characters, names, personalities, location, any time, like a historical event that I'm looking at, it goes in here, and I keep track because I have everybody in their own space. And it's a way to empty out my brain too. So I'm not like, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. I wrote it down.
I'm also so curious, how often in just like everyday life are you having casual conversations and you just like whip out the coolest fact ever known to man?
My husband is the recipient of that, and he just will pause whatever movie we're like watching, and he like, "Do you want to tell me about what's happening right now?" And I'm like, "Yes." So then we will make space for that, and he's like, "Cool. Did you get it out of your system?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Are you sure? Is there anything else you want to tell?" Okay, all right, there you go. So yeah, he bears the brunt of a lot of my nerding out over history.
I love it.
And we reap the benefits.
You reap the benefits, yes. But truly,
Okay.
there's no place I won't visit. Yeah, in my
I
mind.
want to dive into your characters here because you have some fabulous characters that are like super different. I mean, Ravenna is like super grounded and curious and smart and, wise for her years. And Saturnino's cold and grouchy and dark. I mean, we learn why, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, we learn why. There's a reason.
Hope, who's like super villain. You've got this hot mess of a family.
Yes.
So who was your favorite to write?
Oh man.
Can you remember that from back?
No, I have favorites for different reason. I think in a weird way, I enjoyed writing about the Pope because I was wrestling with a lot of my upbringing. Exercising, like getting out on paper the injustice and rage that I felt, the helplessness, Ravenna, in a lot of ways, most of my characters have some kind of artistic bent to them. It's, I think, because I am an illustrator, I was a designer, I was a greeting card designer, wedding invitations, I did all that. And I was a printer, a letterpress printer, which if nobody knows what that is, it's
amazing.
Yeah, I used to have a company, and it was called Ninth Letter Press, and I printed my greeting cards on this old letterpress that was made in 1894, and it weighed 1,500 pounds, and it was made entirely out of cast iron. And back in the day, for any news,
That's awesome.
yeah. So I did that for 7 years. That was my life before I became a full-time writer. And I love making something with my hands. It's so human to me. And newspapers used to be printed where you would do it all on a block print, and you would like assemble the whole article backwards, and then you would print and print and print. So anyway, for Ravenna, I gave her a little bit of that artistic bent, and I was actually very intimidated by the idea of a sculptor after having tried it, because you have to have such a high capacity for boredom to be able to do that job really well. You do the same thing over and over and over in a small way, and it really is like you show a lot of persistence. So I felt like she taught me so much about persevering and to keep going, especially in the face of people who weren't supportive of your work. She was, you read the book and she's in a shed in the back of the inn doing it by herself. So Ravenna, Saturnino at one point, because I felt like especially coming out of COVID, I think a lot of people had to readjust to connecting with humans again, because we all isolated so much out of safety, out of fear, out of necessity. And when I think about Saturnino, I felt like he was just in a very long era of COVID where he was so closed off and fearful, afraid to feel things, did not know how to connect with another human being, because that awful thing happens to him very early on in his existence, and so he doesn't have a great impression of humans. And here comes Ravenna chipping away little by little by little. So that was fun. And then the other character that I'm obsessed with is the courier. He's my favorite because I know exactly who he is, and I know his name, and I know his backstory, and I know what he's searching for. And I'm so excited that he's going to be in the background of every book until you get to the last one, and it's his story. So yeah.
I love that. I mean, that's so fun for a reader too, to follow
Yeah,
the
I
character.
hope so. I hope so. I hope so. He's he's a really interesting character to me. And I feel like I get to know a little bit more about him with every book that I write.
As you
So
see him interact with your other characters. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Did any of these characters kind of surprise you as you were riding along the way by kind of demanding to be more nuanced or have a little bit more to them than you had originally planned?
Yes, the courier. He was supposed to be just the go-between. He was supposed to be someone who was in the background, not even named. And it was so interesting as I was writing Graceless Heart, his story, his name came to me. And I realized there was a reason why he was choosing not to share that name with anyone. And I was so curious. And he truly exploring him. And I know it sounds weird, but really felt his voice heard his voice in my head in every one of his scenes. And I understood down in his bones the reason why he was doing what he was doing. So he was a delightful surprise.
I
That's
love
so
that.
cool. So when
Yeah.
you started writing this,
Hmm.
did you already know this was going to be 4 books, or was it just originally 2 books?
No, it was
It was
always
gonna be
going to be 4 books, but what I did not
But
know.
he wasn't the Thai originally? Oh, that's
No, it wasn't until I got to the very end of the first draft of Graceless Heart when I realized what it was. I had in my notes app, I had 4 books set in the Renaissance, all standalone, but all set during the same time period in a different country using the same magic system. And I did that partly because I did not want to reinvent a magic system 4 different times in the Renaissance. Why not? They could all feed off each other. And then again, like after finishing that first draft of Graceless Heart, and he kept showing up and showing up, and I kept hearing him, I realized his thread was in all of them. And then when I realized what it was that he was searching for, that became the mechanism of book 4 that I did not have that missing piece. I didn't know who the love interest was in book 4. Did not have it. And then he was like, it's me.
He's like, hello, I've been here.
Hello, it's me. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that's how that
I'm
works.
ready for
Yeah.
book 4 now.
I know.
What do you mean we have to wait for 2 and 3?
He's in 2 and 3. He's in there. Yeah.
I love it.
He's in there.
I want to say I was so tickled because reading about Saturnino, like immediately he's broody,
Yeah.
angsty, just
Yeah.
but so early on, he's described as like chiseled and perfect, and she would love to sculpt him like this. And so when the reveal of him literally being a statue came up,
Did
it
you
was
catch it?
just like, oh, what excellent foreshadowing. It
I
was,
tried so hard, guys.
but I will
No
say,
idea. I mean, I literally, as you're reading, you're like, okay, well, he's not a vampire. Like, he's not
no,
fae. Like, I literally kept trying to, like, which category is he in?
the way that for no reason at all, other than my brain just wanted it to be that way, when I was introduced to the Luni family, I was like, it's the Volturi.
Oh,
Right.
That was my head. And I was like, it's the hot Volturi. Like, that's what it
I
is.
did.
And I was like, but I know it's not vampires. Like, I
It's
know it's
not.
not.
Oh my gosh. And it was so funny too, because I did not want Ravenna to be from Volterra. Did not. I did not. Because I thought it was already I felt like, man, they feel like the Cullens. Am I trying to be
Ah!
the Cullens? Then when I was researching where Ravenna could be from, what do you know? The Medici had overrun and overtaken Volterra. And if you watch Twilight,
Yes.
Yeah.
Many, many times.
I was like, I did not do this on purpose. I would have picked anywhere. I was like, why couldn't it have been San Gimignano or like anywhere else? But it had to be Volterra.
But it's funny because I was like, because of those like elements and that mindset,
Yeah.
you pop culture and everything.
Okay, speaking of pop culture,
It made
though,
it surprising.
Yeah.
it totally surprising. But speaking of pop culture, all I thought of when the reveal happened was that scene in Ghostbusters when he's like, do you know the scene when she's like floating on the bed because she's a gargoyle.
I don't know this. I don't know if I've ever seen.
Watch your old school 1984 Ghostbusters movie.
That's the year I was born.
That's what I thought of. Which is a much lighter-hearted, goofy gargoyle than a
very cool. Well, now I
chisel.
have to watch it.
But I was like, I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant, and no one uses that.
It's funny because I know it's statue, but I also thought gargoyle, and this is deep cut, guys. But this is like I cracked up because amongst my sisters, I'm known to have like the most random hear me outs, just in everything. And I always thought the gargoyles from the Hunchback of Notre Dame were like, those are a hear me out for me. And so I was like, yes, we're representing the stone people.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. The other, what's really funny is that Rachel Gilligan and I, we swapped manuscripts. And if you read Night in the Moth, like she has the chisel, there's gargle in it, and her and I were just chuckling because there's such different books, and yet there was some like fun like crossover all around stony characters.
Hey, gargoyles are back, stone characters are back. So thank you for
bring
being
back,
part of it.
bring back stony men.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to themes because you had some incredible themes in this book. I'll start with just the overall theme of sacrifice because that I feel like it starts right off the bat where she wants to free her brother and gives up her obscurity, and her safety essentially for him, and then obviously throughout there's many other people who sacrifice for each other. So just let's dig into that a little, like these themes.
Themes, so funny. I don't know if I carry a theme as I'm drafting that there's a part of that feels really daunting to me to hold that element to it. A theme feels, gosh, I hope all of my books have some kind of theme, but I don't set out with the goal of writing this theme. The story comes out with whatever I am going through at the time. And I am an eldest daughter, oldest child. And growing up that way, I have a younger brother, and you're an eldest daughter. You look out, you're responsible, you are type A, you're organizer, you pack snacks, you look out for him. Is anybody bullying him? There was something about that. I don't know. That just came out in the writing of it. And I don't know if it's sacrificial as much as it is just this is what you do when you're an older sibling. I can't tell you.
Family, almost more like devotion.
Yeah, like devotion, family, like and my brother and I were the only ones born in this country. Everybody else was born in Bolivia. So we were the four of us over here, and we would go to Bolivia every summer, my brother and I, and it was just he and I. School would end, and the next day my parents would ship us out to Bolivia, and we would be there for the next 2.5, 3 months out of the year. So, and it was me and my brother with all of our cousins, and my parents would fly back and forth, but we were staying with our grandparents. So and I was the oldest cousin of 27 first cousins. So I was the oldest one. And I was looking out after everybody. And yeah, so there was something about that just came out with Ravenna.
I want to go to your Christmas parties. 27 cousins.
So
crazy with the Kai's family.
I know, it's so fun, chaotic, fun, so fun. At the time I did not love spending all my summers in Bolivia because to begin with, it was summer vacation for me, but in Bolivia it's the opposite hemisphere, so it was winter. So I didn't get a summer for the first 18 years of my life.
That's hard.
Yeah, but now I really love winter and I don't like summer. So I was born and raised in Florida, and now I live in North Carolina, and Western North Carolina is surrounded by mountains, and I get snow. And so this feels more like me. And I have to thank my parents for that, because I was just always in winter. I just didn't experience summer. I mean, growing up,
that's Kai's like happy place.
Yeah.
You basically just been Kai's dream life.
It is the worst that I live in Texas and it's summer, 80% of the year.
Yeah.
I'm
I,
cold. I miss I grew up in North Carolina and I miss having seasons. It's a
Oh,
beautiful
I
thing.
love the seasons. In Florida, listen, I got my fair share of heat and all of that, but I luckily I escaped the worst of it during the summer.
Oh my goodness. It was so interesting that to hear that you didn't put in specific themes. You just kind of like allow yourself to tell your story. And so it's funny because Leanna and I have a whole list of themes that we got from it. So as readers, it's so cool to
What
see
did you get
what
out of it?
sticks out. So that's what I'm gonna get to. I was like, one of the
Like
ones
literally like plot points listed. Like, look
like
at all these amazing themes she had. And you're like, I didn't even think about it.
yeah, I was like, and so it's fun to hear that, like, you're like, I don't know. Because one thing that really stood out to me is like a theme that I threw in was art and creation, that sculpture isn't just Ravenna's skill. It feels like a metaphor for creation through destruction. And
Hmm.
bringing form out of stone requires the breaking apart of the raw material, just as growth often involves rupturing old assumptions. You know?
Look at that. Wow, that is really smart. Did not set out to do
Like,
that
nope,
as
I just thought
brilliantly
they
as you. No, didn't set out to do that because again, imagine the pressure. Am
Yeah.
I hitting this thing? The other thing too, I would imagine if you hold on to that so tightly with the closed fist as you're drafting, you might miss opportunities to explore depth in other characters. If you felt like this is not the theme, I have to stick to the parameters of this theme, you might lose out on something else that is born organically from a dialogue or what have you. The other thing too, it really does feel like a lot of pressure to hold on to. I want to write these themes or these different things. It's too much, way too much.
I
And
love that though, because I wonder if that's why sometimes, when we read these books and, we're discussing it in our back room or whatever, and it
yeah,
feels like sometimes maybe the theme is kind of beat over the head, or like you
yeah,
kind of
or
lose
like
track of the,
preachy.
the plot or the characters because you're like, wow, they were really trying to teach us this lesson with this book.
Yes, yes,
Where with
yes,
this, I'm reading this and I'm just lost in their romance and immersed in the
yeah.
location. I'm just
Yeah.
happy
It's
reading
also
it.
Well, I really am glad you feel that way. It's not to say that I don't have. It's not to say that I'm not trying to say something, because I am with all of my books. Every book is dealing with some kind of question that I'm going through, some injustice that I want to excavate out of me because it can't live in my body anymore. It's way too
Mm.
stressful. I am processing something. Can you hear my kids?
Yes. Mom, come say goodnight to me.
Dad's got it. Anyway, so all that to say, I don't think I carry themes, but I do have something I want to say.
Yeah.
it's just so good. It's well, that explains why you have such a long list of themes because there wasn't one specific thing you were going for.
Oh
We
yeah,
noticed
maybe.
all the nuances and the different things, and so much of it has to do with the relationships of the characters, and just how they're approaching their conversations with each other. And so
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
is a beautiful and fun way to read and understand a story, and as a reader feel seen, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that so much. I did want to ask, sorry,
Yeah.
Ellen, I think I skipped you again. Um, the name, Graceless
Yes.
Heart, was that the
Oh,
original title? And can you talk a little bit about how it landed on that and that word grace and graceless
yes.
throughout the story?
Yes. I had an entire spreadsheet when it came down to titles for this book, and I was struggling so much trying to find something that wasn't too on the nose, that wasn't vague, that felt true to the story and heart of the story, felt like it fit the Renaissance as well. Um, and when I was doing research, when I was in Florence, every time we would come across some sculpture or like painting or what have you, there was always, buddy, Andrew's with him now.
That's so right.
There was always my guide was telling me that everything was inspired by the divine, and it was some kind of external expression of worship or there was so much themes of religion in all of the artwork in Florence. It was a lot of art was created as an act of worship. So I held on to that in the back of my mind. And then when I was tossing titles with my editor, um, I listened to Florence and the Machine a lot while drafting this book, a ton. And she's a huge Florence and the Machine fan. And so we were texting one day, going back and forth about this title. And she was like, "What about Graceless Heart?" And it resonated, I swear, my entire body. It felt, yes, that's it. Because as I was reading the book, I felt like Ravenna is searching for grace that she can't give herself. The Pope, who ought to have an abundance of grace, did not have any. And there was Saturnino, who has never extended grace or has received grace. I don't know, if you want to talk about a theme, I felt like that grace and graceless was very much a part of it. But I could not have picked that out, or I didn't set out to do that. Like that was the goal, but it was a byproduct of what I was thinking and going through when I was writing this book.
So beautiful.
Yeah. I'm glad you think so. I'm really glad you think so.
It was. Okay, one more fun big reveal. Obviously, we already talked about him being stoned, but the cat.
Oh yeah, the cat, Simonetta.
So how fun was that?
That was so much fun.
That was pretty playful.
Yeah. There was a lot of iterations of Simonetta in the book.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. She is, okay, so I wanted Graceless Heart to feel a little bit like a fairy tale. And there's a little bit of Beauty and Beast in it. And with Beauty and the Beast, you know your cast of characters in that fairy tale, but there's also the enchantress. And I wanted there to be an enchantress. And so Ravenna very much gets whisked away, and she's kept in this palazzo. She has this immortal family. She has Saturnino, a beast, and there was something about that I felt like I could have some of the look of that fairy tale, but not an actual retelling of that fairy tale. But I loved the idea of there being an enchantress. And to me, she was the answer to how Saturnino and the rest of his family were made out of stone. And once I had her, I loved that. But then I also thought that magic has to have some kind of consequence. And what could that be? And for her, she was turned into a cat. And I loved that she was going to be nearly so much on every page in when you get to Florence that she's there.
I didn't see that one coming.
You didn't?
It was so fun too, because I just love the idea that, at the base, it's there, the witches. That's another through line for,
yes.
This thing is witches. I mean, what's more witchy than
a black cat?
Right.
A black cat.
A black cat.
It was just when I was because of the historical setting and the beauty and the lyrical writing, it's this, and then you're like, wait, they're witches. Of course there's a black cat. Of course the Pope is there. There's just those little hard-hitting moments of duh, but also because of how beautifully woven it is, you're just like, oh wow, okay. So yeah, Simonetta was definitely such a fun reveal.
Yeah, I wanted her in this time period too. Simonetta was considered in Florence, she was considered the most beautiful woman in Florence, and she died really, really young. She was also very much in love with Giuliano, who gets stabbed in church 19 times. So there was tragedy for me in that love story that never came to be. And it was my way of having that person, that woman, carry on in the book and be in the book. And I gave her that name because I wanted her to survive it.
And then it kind of comes full circle still.
Yeah.
You're brilliant.
Oh
it.
God.
Uh,
It's fun. It's fun pulling things like that. But you can get a lot of inspiration from history. It's all there.
Yeah.
Also curious about the kind of blood imagery that runs throughout the novel.
Oh, tell me, is there?
It feels like I was like, and yeah, that's something I picked up. It's like, just different moments of like, and I think it comes with like the stress and the striving that each character goes through.
Yeah.
And then right there at the end, towards the final thing, it feels like blood imagery in the overarching fantasy world seems violent,
Yeah.
whereas here it feels sacred. I feel like so much of your
Oh,
violence, and I was like, that could just be me, but it's just like
but
so
I
much what comes off as violent in so many other ways lands. I mean, I'm wondering if it's through that theme of grace to be
yeah.
sacred at the
I
end.
you
Uh,
know, I don't I didn't think of it that way, but I love and appreciate that's what you got out of it. There is a degree of just when you writing something like this and putting out it into the world, it becomes your thing now. And the way that you interact with it and how you understand it, my author intent only goes so far before it's picked up by the person on the other end. And I love that that's what you experienced.
But well, since I have brought up so many things that were not your intent, what were some of your intents? What were some things that you were really hoping readers would catch?
I really wanted I really wanted someone to pick up the book and realize how important it is to fall in love with yourself and your voice and your own talents. I really wanted someone to feel seen. Ravenna really struggles a lot with self-loathing, which I think all of us do to some extent, and it manifests in insecurities and fear, sometimes anger. And I just wanted someone to learn maybe a little bit through Ravenna's process that she is loved, she is known, she is seen, she's enough, and she is not broken. That's what I wanted.
That's beautiful.
That's what I wanted.
We all need that little boost, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so this story continues.
Yes, the story continues.
Do you want to share a little bit about what's next in this story?
Yes. Okay, so again, Witch Dance is the next book in the Spellbound Histories Quartet. It is a standalone. You can come at the story without having read Graceless Heart. A lot of it, for people who are coming from Graceless Heart, a lot of it in terms of the magic world and the magic and world building might feel a touch familiar, but it is set in a whole new country with a whole new cast of characters. So it's going to still feel like a brand new story. And as I said before, each of these books in the quartet are about a witch. And I'm so excited for everybody to read this book because in this one, my witch is a doctor studying to become a doctor, and she gets sent to Strasbourg to study an infectious disease. And it's this weird thing that's happening in Strasbourg. Nobody can really figure it out. And it's the dancing plague. And if I researching that book, I swear this was a case where history was stranger than fiction. Could not make this stuff up. I mean, really, the stuff that
You're like,
went on,
really? A dancing plague? Really?
a dancing plague, yes. And I was fascinated,
Yeah.
horrified, at turns surprised, and I felt grief for all these people going through this. But I was excited to explore what was happening here from the mindset of a woman who was studying medicine. And at the time, that was just not a thing. And so she's the only woman at the Universidad de Salamanca. And when she goes to Strasbourg, she is the only woman trying to figure out what is happening. Yeah. And the love interest, I love him. I really love him. Yeah. I don't know what to I without like spoiling, but I think he's great. And he is not a morally great character. He's not a villain. He is just a solid guy, just a really noble guy.
And then the courier
And then the courier, he's in the
makes an
story as
appearance.
well. Yes.
Yeah.
He's in this, he, to me, he's in this book more than he is in Graceless Heart. And I want that to be true as each story progresses. You see more and more of him. And in every book, you learn a little bit more of his backstory, a little bit more of what he's doing, a little bit more of his motivations. And yeah, so I'm really excited for people to read this book. It's definitely in tone, it's a smidge creepier than any of my other books. Yeah. So that's what I got, guys.
Love a good creepy vibe.
Yeah.
You also mentioned, your wall of sticky notes on the back for YA. What
Yes.
in our direction in that?
Yeah, that book has not been announced yet, but I do have a YA. Actually, yeah, it's a YA. There's I can't say anything else. Yeah. Anyway,
No
but
spoilers.
it
We're
is a
not
YA.
bound with that one.
Yeah. It is a YA. It just has not been announced yet. Yeah.
Okay, looking at our Q&A box here, Jackie wants to know about the audiobook narrator because she says the narrator was phenomenal.
Yes.
So what was it like choosing that person? Are you going to use the same narrator for your other books?
Yes. Probably not. Beatrice, she is a delightful human, so supportive, so kind. She was pitched to me by the audio team at Macmillan. And they were like, hey, we think we're going to pitch this actress. She was the singer in White Lotus season 2. She's Italian. And I was like, yeah, I would love that. She sings so beautifully. I'm sure that she's too busy to do something like this. Well, she came back and said, no, I would love it. So I just loved I got to hang out. I got to we have DM'd quite a bit back and forth about the book and the story, and she just really felt like she understood Ravenna. And hearing her narrate the story with her lovely accent, the Italian coming, I mean, it was just chef's kiss. So I really love that. But it's unlike it. I know that she's not going to be the narrator for the next book because the main character is from Salamanca, so Spanish.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So no.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are some books that you have read recently, other than the historical romances we talked about earlier,
Yes.
or are currently reading that you would like to hype up and recommend to
Oh
us?
my gosh, I wish I would. There's so many. I am a huge
Type up
fan.
all your friends' books.
I know. Okay. Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin. So whimsical. It's a fairy tale. It's so wonderful. Fallen City, of course, Rebecca Ross. Oh my gosh, her Wild Reverence is beautiful. And then I have also read her newest one, which she got to talk a little bit about on tour in Waco. And it is such a beautiful book. You guys are not even ready. Holy smokes. I always recommend Su Lin Tan. I am obsessed with Julie Ann Long, the historical romance writer. She's fantastic, fantastic. Ayana Gray has a new one coming out. Really excited about that. That one is going to be about a reporter printer and with a sorcerer. So fun. And also, if you want more of a historical vibe, she does I Medusa, which is great. I got to read
Oh, I
the early
loved
version.
that book.
Yes, I
Yeah,
got
that
to
was
read
very cool.
early version of that. So great.
I
I
did
mean,
enjoy that
truly,
one.
I've been reading so much. Oh, and I just got BK Borison's Grim Tidings, so I'll be reading that.
So fun.
Yes,
I'm
super
obsessed with
excited.
BK. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Her last one was
yeah,
so cute with the weatherman.
yes, she's a delight. Also,
It's
love
charming.
supporting nice people. Oh, the other, if you also like historical,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has read Amy Harmon.
Oh,
She's
yes.
another fan.
I own every single one of her books and I've interviewed her like 12 times.
Oh my gosh, she's wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. She's
Oh,
actually
and
what's super cool about her is that she writes historical fiction, but she also has some very cool fantasy books
fantasy. Yes.
that are
Yes.
so
I
good.
love it. I love her
I
stuff.
love her.
Please read her. Amy Harmon's so great. Oh, can I tell you about this other book series of books, please? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. Sorry,
you're
y'all.
talking to book people.
I'm gonna nerd out. Please stop me if you guys already know about these series of books. It's the Emma M. Lyon books.
Yes.
Have you guys
They're
read
very
these books?
popular right now.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
They're darling.
I did not know what I was in store for, and I felt like it was a Gilmore Girls
Yeah.
cozy set in a magical, whimsical English neighborhood, and the love interest in this is just, and her
So
like oh my gosh, Emma, the character, she is so great, and I think that what she's done is so unique because each book is kind of a wonderful stroll through her life. The plot
mm,
isn't, it's not pacey. You get to
yeah,
know
no,
all,
they're like quiet. I think maybe they are so popular because they are quiet
they're
in this
quiet, but like
busy world.
meandering in a
Mhm.
beautiful, like in a beautiful way, and they don't feel frenetic. It really feels like a stroll through a field of buttercups or something. And I
Oh, that's
just,
a lovely description. But you're
yeah,
right. Or it feels like
yes,
you're reading old history. I don't know.
yes, yes. I highly recommend Emma M. Line, the unselected journals of Emma M. Line.
Unsolicited journals, yeah.
Unsolicited, yes, of Emma M. Line. Yeah.
And they're pretty colors.
And they're very pretty colors. I am breathless waiting for book number 9. Who else can I tell you guys? Of course, Frozen River. I'm excited for the Pirate Queen
That's
by
good.
Ariel. I always recommend Susanna Kearsley. I read a lot of historical
I
stuff.
love her. I read her last year too. She's just darling. She's another
Susanna
one who's like
Kearsley.
crazy. Oh yeah, she's like one of my favorite authors. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, tell her I say hi. I'm a huge fan. I've been reading her
Yeah.
for years. The Winter Sea. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, that's like a classic fabulous novel.
Yes, but I loved her
She's
message,
another
the
one who
King's
geeks out. Like
Messenger.
when you interview her, she's like, "Oh, let me talk to you about history."
Yes, why don't I need to be her friend? Oh my gosh, I need to be her friend. I
Just
love,
send her a
I
text.
adored.
She'll text you back. She's very chatty.
Oh, isn't she? Oh my gosh, what's her number?
She's
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah. Anyway, just tell her I love her. I was obsessed with her King's Messenger. Great
Yeah,
book. Yeah,
it is a great book.
yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh,
much.
that was fantastic. You just gave us like 35 books. You just, with
I
everyone
hope.
watching, you just now your TBR is full. Thanks.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's go history and historical romance. Come on, guys. I want you all to read it.
I clearly we're supposed to if every author we talk to right now is like, this is where we're going.
Yeah, it has to be.
All right.
Oh,
Are there any other questions? Oh, there are a couple more questions.
Yeah, let's go.
Ray says, were there any scenes or plot lines that you decided to delete from the final draft?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Hmm.
The book is 146,000 words. It's the longest book I've ever written, and I had to cut quite a bit out of the final product, which I'm glad. It like glad. I don't I'm glad that the all of the pieces that are in Graceless Heart help the reader to know the chessboard of that story. But there were a lot of extra players and scenes that didn't make it onto the book. But at that point, it felt like the chessboard was getting super crowded. So yeah, I had to trim quite a bit. Um, most of which happened in the beginning. So that book went through, I don't know how many beginnings, probably like 9 before I just had to, yeah, like I had to get closer and closer and closer to the actual competition.
no.
Yeah. And originally Ravenna was going to meet Saturnino while she was sitting in a tree. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't think that
You're
the
like,
people watching because they see like one screen at a time, but both Leanne and I's mouths just dropped open.
She was, Ravenna was sitting in a tree. Yeah.
Oh, we were
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Like she gets the first glimpse of them as they're coming into Volterra. So the originally I wait like the book started a lot earlier and she was making a fish pie, which I had looked up a recipe in an old book from that time period, and they used cinnamon and nutmeg in their fish pie. And I was so intrigued by this, and I wanted to make it, but felt immediately intimidated by all of the different techniques that were used. But anyway, she's making this fish pie, and the competition is underway. Her brother is hanging in in his little thing. birdcage, and she hears that they're coming, and so she runs out and she finds a tree, and she is watching their approach, and they go beneath her tree, and Saturnino just stops directly beneath her, tilts his head up and looks up, and they lock eyes, and then he keeps going. That was how they were originally going to meet. But my editor was like, we got to get closer to the scene. We have to get closer to the scene. And so that's when, so then we don't actually see the Luni family arriving. They're already there. And so then they meet at night.
I was gonna say, I was like, it is pretty fun that she's like, running around at night past curfew carrying a ladder, and she's like, oop.
Oh, right. Yes. Don't mind me.
Don't mind me.
I was like, not only is like, oop, don't mind me, but also like, that is the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life. But I gotta go.
But I have a ladder, so I'm not gonna hang out here.
I have to be here.
Gotta go. Stop and talk to this guy
randomly with a ladder. Yep. If you know what that moment was for me, have you guys ever seen Dirty Dancing?
Oh yeah.
And she carries a watermelon.
Oh. Oh, that's so great.
What would be the most awkward but realistic and plausible thing that she would need to do right now? Oh, yeah, she's carrying a ladder. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
You had one more question come in.
Yeah.
Do you have any writing advice? Things like getting inspiration or getting over writing slumps?
Yes. Inspiration. I turn to history a lot for inspiration, whether that's books, podcasts, movies. Sometimes I'll come across something it's like stranger than fiction, Dancing Plague. Whoa, tell me more about that. I'm curious. Deep dive and then historic. Sometimes it's a scene from a movie and I'm like, oh man, I really wish that was the beginning. And then my mind will just kind of go from there. Or I will picture something or reimagine it in a different kind of way. I'm just going to say this. I mean, who are y'all going to tell? The YA that I am plotting right now is heavily inspired by Sabrina. It's one of my favorite movies. And so there's that, but with magic in a different setting and so fun. But there's that was the springboard for that. Again,
you're in your witch era.
Yeah, I am. No, not Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Sabrina, Audrey Hepburn, and Humphrey Bogart.
Oh,
yeah, the black and white. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thanks. I hope so. I mean, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's very creative in a YA.
Oh, in a YA. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Set on an island. Yeah.
Oh, how long do we have to wait for this one?
I don't know, man. That's the thing. It's supposed to come out next. However, there might be one that comes before it that may or may not happen, but I just don't know. So,
okay.
Oh. They also asked if there are any websites in particular that you find really useful for research.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you guys familiar with JSTOR? Nobody? Okay. You can go JSTOR, JSTOR. I'm sure somebody is familiar. They have really great articles. I start with Google and then I will go. Often what I'm looking for is a very niche thing. And then I will Google every known book about whatever subject that I need more about. So literally, hold on.
For the Dancing Plague, for example.
Yes.
Literally, I thought, when I first read it, I was like, oh, of course it's Fae. But then I'm like, well, wait, no, this is historical. So then I started Googling. I love when a book makes me Google. When I go down a Google rabbit hole, that's so fun.
Oh my gosh. I am such a nerd when it comes to, okay. So A Time to Dance.
Oh.
Dressing Renaissance Florence. The architecture of Italian Renaissance. Oh, this is delightful. It's a whole book on Italian tales. Yeah.
That's a chunker.
Cooking and eating in Renaissance Italy. This was so fun. Made me super hungry. This is for when I was doing the Nile books. Ancient Egyptian magic. Cairo.
See, this is why your books are so good and why they're so immersive. Because you think of those details. You make sure that the food matches and you make sure that the clothing matches and you make sure the architecture matches. So it's not just the story of the two people, but it's all the things around them.
It's all the things around them. There's so much but it's fun too. I'm a very it's like, what is that? A kinetic learner.
Mm.
It's very hands-on. And so there's something about reading the physical form with a highlighter or a pen and with a notebook, and I retain it longer. There's like a thing that happens here. And so I will highlight so much, and I use tabbies a lot to be able to find things. But books
Mm.
is
Oh,
where I get a lot of my research.
so cool. And Ray wants to know which one of your books was your favorite to write. Do you have one?
Gosh.
Pick a child.
I know, you
Oh,
can't do that. The others will feel bad.
no. Um, it's hard for me because each of them have gotten something out of from me, like taken something from me. Woven in Moonlight, that was my first one, Bolivian inspired. I put all of my upbringing, culture. Spanish was my first language. I put so much of that in there, myself in there. Learned a ton about writing, all this research, different things like that. I but every when somebody asks me this question, I do go back to what the river knows and where the library hides, because when I was a kid, I wanted to be an Egyptologist, and I wanted to excavate. I was so fascinated by culture, people, the history, the symmetry of their architecture, all of it, the ingenuity, innovation, the mathematics that was like, we still don't understand the math of that time period.
No.
And then because with both river and with library, I was able to go to Egypt for 3 weeks, and I got to stand in front of the pyramids, and I cried. Like, my guide was just looking at me like, is she gonna be okay? I don't know. I was just weeping, just standing in front of the pyramids, and they're immortal in a way that I am never going to know or understand, and forever
And
moved
we
by
still
that.
don't understand them.
Yeah, yeah. Great
Wow.
questions.
Those were great. I know. Thanks,
Yeah, they're
everybody.
great questions. Yes.
Oh, great. All right, Missy Wise.
Kinesthetic. Oh, I saw somebody. Kinesthetic. Thank you. Kinesthetic learner.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, our library representative.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanks,
librarians.
librarian.
You can look at, for me, it's the Orange County Library. But anyway, yes,
Mm.
the JSTOR is so helpful. And then you can go in and do like a specific niche search, and guaranteed there's somebody who wrote an article about it. Jousting, for example.
We're going to Google that next.
Yeah, jousting. Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh. Well,
gosh.
thank you so much
Yeah, that
for
was great.
joining us this evening. This is
Yeah.
fun. I could listen to you talk all night. Like,
Oh,
genuinely, like, this is just the history that exudes out of you. It's so fun. And it's
oh,
fun to see people who love their craft. Like, it's obvious in the way that you share about it. So thank you
mm.
for letting us be a little small part of it as
You're very
well.
welcome. You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about history, books, craft, writing.
Yeah.
Somebody said there was a question about getting out of a writing slump, and I didn't get to
Yeah.
answer that. Is it okay if I answer that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have often found that if I'm super stuck, I have made a wrong turn somewhere. So, what has been helpful to me is remembering that your plot, whatever happens next in your book, is directly linked to your character and whatever lie they believe about themselves. Your
Mm.
plot is your character. So, innately there are so many things that are stressful, like a math test, but if that is not the deep core wound of your character, even adding a math test is just not going to add the right amount of tension, and it's not the right plot point. But if you go back to your character, and if you know what they're running from, if you know what they want, you can create plot points that push and pull and push against those pressure points that they have, and there's your plot. Everything should be about stressing out your main character. That often
That's
gets me out of a
great
slump.
advice.
I love that you say that because I think it was one of our book club, our young adult book club members here when you were visiting came up
Yes.
because I've never been so stressed out for a main character than when I was reading. I was so stressed with them, and so now hearing that one of your ways to overcome is to cause stress in them. I mean, that checks
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. It is like you're literally asking the question over and over, what is the worst thing that can happen to your character? And it doesn't have to be life or death. It's not a knife fight. It's not a dragon coming down, or maybe it can be in Together We Burn. It certainly was, but it could often be a conversation that you're afraid to have. Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, Isabel, this was lovely. Thanks so much for hanging out
You're
with us.
very welcome.
Sharing
You're very
all
welcome.
of
Anytime.
your details and backgrounds and research. And we're going to be very excited about the next book.
I'm very excited for you guys to read it. I hope you like it. I guess I saw cover sketches today and
Oh, you did? No way.
yeah,
So
they
good.
nailed it. They nailed it. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I mean,
We ended up
this was lovely. Whoever designed this
my
cover,
gosh.
we didn't really talk about this, but this cover
yes,
is stunning.
it was the Bulbasa twins. They are Italian. They're twins. I'm the mother of twins. Very much felt like it was a sign to go with them. And they did the next cover.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
No,
And
it's
it just matches
stunning.
so well. And plus, I just love all the details. Like they really nailed all the little bitty details.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, over and over at the shop, people are just like, this book is gorgeous.
I'm so glad. I'm glad that people like it.
Shiny straight edges.
Well, we're excited for the next one.
Yay. Thank you so much. You guys were wonderful. I just want to, I'm like reading through everybody's little comments and stuff. Thank you so much for like attending and listening and all that.
Yeah, it's fun to see. Like Carrie says, this was such a dream to get to hear from you. Been a fan for a long time. Like that's so fun.
Thank you, Carrie. That's sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being here. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Do we need to announce what's next?
Yes, I was like, we're gonna announce what's next. You can stay, Isabel, if you want to know what we're reading next. But
I'm gonna bop out, but I so appreciate you guys being here.
Good to see you.
So good to see you.
So good to see you. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone in the chat, stay, because we're gonna tell you.
If you want to know what's next, you want to know what's up.
Next.
Oh my gosh, but she was fabulous. Thanks everybody
I
for all
love
your
her
great
so
questions.
much.
And seriously, I'm like, I could just talk to her all forever.
I
She's
don't
so
have really good
chatty and
questions.
lovely, which is wonderful. You don't feel like you're like pulling things out.
The best.
She shares.
All
Okay,
right.
which is also our next guest.
Yes.
Is also going to be like that. She's an author who is extremely chatty and extremely personable and extremely fun. So this will be a wild, wacky, fun chat when she joins us. So our next book is The Astral Library by Kate Quinn. Now this is kind of a fun one because first of all, it's her first foray. She normally writes historical fiction, so this is her first foray into fantasy. And I feel like for us, we've been choosing like very heavy traditional fantasy, and this is more like magical realism-y fantasy. So but I mean, it's a library. What's not to love about a magical library?
Yeah, we're book people. This is our bread and butter. And
you all will be happy to know it is not 1,000 pages. You're welcome.
This is our spring cleaning. Like
it's our brain break.
We love fantasy and we love the bricks that they are, but every so often it is nice to have just like a nice, simple, solid read. But super pumped for that. I dropped the links for that in the chat there. We're meeting with her April 1st. No, we're not fooling you. It's
don't
actually
listen
happening.
To Kai.
It's actually
not true, Kai.
Wednesday, April 1st, we'll be chatting with Kate, and we hope to see you guys there. Also, remember that 24 hours from now, you'll get a link to sign up for that in your email, along with the link to the recording to watch this back if you want to, or for the people that had to hop out later. But y'all are lovely. Lee Ellen's lovely. We had a great time.
Thanks for your questions. Thanks for hanging out with us. And
the guild.
See you around like a donut. See you on the next one.
All right. Good night, you guys.
Bye, buddy. Thanks, Kai.
Yeah.
Bye.